Yo, what up everybody, it's Theo Stewart, and again I am doing another tag. Today is the Authortube Transparency Tag, because y'all know I'm transparent. I don't really try to hide anything or, whatever. I'm very blunt, I'm very open, I'm very, willing to let y'all know whatever, I don't really care. So I figured I would go ahead and do this Authortube Transparency Tag because I'm an authortuber and I'm very transparent and I like doing tags. So this was made for me, I guess. Question number 1. Are you published traditionally or self-pubbed, or is your writing on a public forum, i.e. Wattpad or something? I am published, self-published. I have a self-publishing company or whatever. I self-publish myself. It's called Jones's Burrow and Books. And I will intend to stay self-published. There are a few things I might try to get traditionally published just because I feel like it would probably work better for that market. But for the most part, I'm just going to stay self-published. I did used to actually publish on public forums. I never used Wattpad, or I was going to, and then I heard that if your stuff gets stolen on there or whatever, the person that oversees it does not do anything about it. They're just like, oh, well, that's the risk you got to take. And they don't do anything about it. To me, that's just poor business. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So I did use Booksy. I enjoyed it. I do know some people that got their work stolen from there, which is something you're going to deal with anywhere. But they were very quick putting a stop to it. They would delete the profile if they tried to do it on profile there. They would press legal actions or whatever on people if they needed to and stuff like that. So they're very good at working with the authors. So I did publish on there for a little bit for Medigore as I was in the first draft and second draft phase of it. Then after that, I removed it once I actually decided I wanted to go an actual publishing route. Question number 2, what genre do you write? I mostly write adult medieval fantasy. There are going to be some that I might do like a young adult fantasy. I do have a pen name aside from my Dale Stewart that's going to be Peter Gracie. And I'm going to publish like non-fantasy stuff. Some of it might be a little fantasy, but for the most part, it has nothing to do with my Lands of the Abyss series or world or anything like that. And in it, I'm going to write mostly adult stuff. A lot of it will be like my memoir. I have like a drama type action series or duology or whatever, and a few others that's adult and it has some action in it, but it's not fantasy. It's more like real world type scenarios and things like that, I guess. Question 3, how long have you been writing? I would say the first thing I ever actually started writing, like a story wise, would have been in 9th grade. So 2004, 2005, somewhere in there, I started writing. And it was going to be called Azate. And since then, the title has changed and it's now Left But Not Forgotten. And it is something that I do at some point intend on going back and redoing it because it was trash back then. But I'm going to redo it and publish under my pen name at some point. That might be 10, 15, 20 years from now, but that is something I do plan on doing at some point. So I would say 2004, a good 15, 16 years I've been writing. Question number 4, how long have you been writing with the goal of publishing or selling your work? That wasn't until I was partway into Medigore. Like I said, I posted the first 2 drafts up on Booksy. I was about done with the first draft when I was like, you know what, I think I might actually publish it. And I had started already doing a little bit of the second draft up on there or something. I kind of did it out of order. I hadn't even finished the first draft when I started working on the second draft at that point. And then I went ahead and finished posting that second draft, and then after that I left it up there for a little bit, and then finally I was like, no, I'm going to take this down. I'm actually going to, try to publish and sell my work and stuff like that. So that was probably 2016, maybe early 2017 whenever I actually decided to take it all down. somewhere in there. Number 5, do you have a liberal arts degree in writing, or are you working towards one? No, I actually don't have any degree. I dropped out of college. I literally had like 2 classes left, 2 easy classes that I had flunked out of both times, or both classes, just because of stuff. But that was easy, and I didn't continue going. So the job, I quit because I got a job offer, and it was to pay. I was going to get paid more than what I would have gotten if I had finished for my degree, which my degree wasn't even in liberal arts or anything like that. It was in drafting and design, which is doing blueprints for houses and stuff like that. Any kind of building, in a sense. I could have done like residential, commercial, stuff like that. Also would have gotten within that degree to do like machine parts and stuff. It could have just been blueprints for basically anything, landscaping, whatever. But like I said, I just kind of dropped out when I just had those 2 classes left, because once I got that degree, the amount that I would have made would have been less than what I had offered to me as a job, welding. So I did that. I did take a lot of writing classes while I was in there, because I went to college. It was just a community college or whatever, and I went with a FAFSA Pell Grant, so the government paid for it and I didn't have to. And one of the stipulations is you have to have a certain number of hours or credits per semester for you to be able to get the Pell Grant or whatever. And with me not working at that point, or I was working at Subway, minimum wage at that point, and I was still living with my mom, and she wasn't working because of her job got laid off, so she was going to college and stuff. So we got a full Pell Grant for however many thousands that is, which covered all of my schooling. But so I could have that Pell Grant, I had to have certain amount of hours, and some semesters I wouldn't have it. So I took as many math and as many English writing classes I could, just to fill that up, and then always went over, but I didn't care. I didn't have to pay for it, so it was all right. So I did take all those classes, and I would get like a minor, major, or whatever you'd get for completing all of those. But I never graduated, so no, I don't have any degrees or majors or anything like that in college. Number 6, have you taken any writing classes? Yeah, I just kind of said that I took every writing class I could at that college over the course of about 2 years. Well, I guess 2 years as well as the summer one, because the summer I really had to take a lot of classes just so I could get a Pell Grant for that. Because at first I wasn't going to, because I only needed 1 class that was offered that summer, and it would have been enough. But I did manage to find enough classes to just randomly take that I didn't need to take, just so they would pay it. So yeah, I did that. Question number 7, what, if any, technical book do you have you used to hone your writing skills? I have about 4 books, I went and got them, that I've used over the course of my writing. Some more so than others. The first one is writing fantasy and science fiction. I used a little bit. I didn't really use it for the fantasy aspect or whatever, like most people think, but I did use it to get some ideas for let's see here, some medieval jobs, as well as I think there is a list of some medieval words, which I've got a longer list on my computer that I have compiled over the course of however long. There's also like anatomy of castles and stuff like that, which is some of the terminology and things. They have fantasy races and stuff, which I didn't really use this as much for my fantasy races, because by the time I actually had acquired this book, I had already kind of fleshed out my world in a sense that way. I just kind of use it for some more minor details with, like I said, terminologies and stuff like that. But I do enjoy it, and I think anybody that's writing fantasy or science fiction, that is a book that they might want to pick up. And I think it also kind of goes into like steampunk a little bit and stuff like that. So yeah. Another book I got is Writing Monsters, just because I like writing monsters, and it's got like little worksheet things in it, I believe. If I can find it. Maybe not. I thought it did. Okay, no, I don't see any worksheets. I knew I hadn't used it. But it kind of goes in and kind of breaks down like how to write a monster or whatever, and you know, what is a monster, what makes a monster scary, transformations, where do they come from, you know, kind of really makes you think about your monsters instead of just creating them to be like a two-dimensional character. They kind of make it more of a 3D, almost like a regular character in a sense. So it's kind of good like that. I kind of use it some when I was trying to develop my own races, like the Dresdes and stuff, but yeah. Another book I got because I suck at writing emotions, or at least I feel like I do. I've had other people say that, you know, they like the emotions I put in it, which I think is why I usually lean more towards the action and stuff like that instead of more of a emotional driven story, because I don't feel like I'm that good at writing emotions. When it's more like sappy love, romance type stuff like that, when it's more like anger and hate and, you know, rage, I'm better at writing those emotions. So I had purchased the Emotional Craft of Fiction, which kind of is pretty good. It's got some scenarios and things to think about and different like ways to incorporate emotion and stuff. I use that a lot in the first book of my Metagore series. I've used it some on my second book, not much. I'll probably go into it more deeper later in later drafts or whatever. I'm trying to really flesh out the emotion. I usually wait and save that for an entire draft. But yeah, I got that. And then for this one, I have finally purchased this book not too long ago, The Emotional Thesaurus, which is, you know, one of the more known emotional type books, whatever, with all kinds of different words. Instead of saying happy, you know, you could use all these other words instead. You could, you know, show it this way instead of saying that they're happy and things like that. So I have been using that some in my second draft of Sovereign Duties. It's the first time I've used it. I've enjoyed it. But yeah, those are the 4 books that I've kind of used that's more of a help book, I guess. I do have one about outlining that I had gotten as like a Secret Santa type ordeal with a writing group that I'm in. I have not opened it because I outline pretty good, I feel. I like my outlining or my style, the way I go through it and how in depth I go. So I haven't really looked into it that much. I might at some point, but right now I haven't. So yeah. Question number 8. If you are published, how many views or copies have you sold or gotten on your work? That's very specific, and I'm not sure exactly the specific. I know whenever I was posting on Booksy, I had over 400 and something thousand views of the Battle for Metagore while I was still in the first and second draft phase. It was also the second most recommended book on that site out of 400 and something thousand books that was on that site at that point. So I felt like that was an accomplishment. But since I've published and sold copies, the last I checked, I think I'd sold 200 and something last year. I'm not sure this year. I know this year's already kind of half over. I haven't got that much this year. But last year I sold over 200. And then for my audiobook, which just came out this past week, from the time I'm recording this, I've sold 5 copies, I believe, last time I checked. So yeah, there's that. Question number 9. Share your most negative and most positive review feedback on your work. I can do that. Give me a second. Alright, so both of these reviews are like the first and second reviews on Goodreads, or at least how it's pulling them out, and we'll pull up the same on everybody else's. But so far on Goodreads, I got 4-star review altogether. I've gotten 3 stars and 35 stars. So they're not terrible or anything. I'm gonna go ahead and read off the first 3-star I get to, then the first 5-star. The first 3-star I got is from Siabahan. I'm guessing, I don't know how to pronounce it. The Battle for Metagore is the first book in D.L. Stewart's Lands of the Abyss series, and it's a book that has me curious for more. There is so much to learn about this world, many things I wish to see come together, and I'm excited to see how everything will play out throughout the series. The Battle for Metagore introduces us to an interesting world, one filled with creatures that will appeal to all fantasy fans. It's more than just your standard cast of characters, as this one covers a much larger scope of actually deals with such creatures rather than simply referencing them. This makes for a large cast of characters, which is a bit daunting at first, but as the story progresses, these things come together well, and it's great to watch how everything links together. Once things are coming together, the book is extremely difficult to put down. You're curious about so many different elements and happy to turn the pages to get your answers. There are plenty of characters and storylines, and you'll find yourself with favorites you're wanting to come back to. Although I enjoyed this one, it wasn't quite what I had expected. The title had me expecting a lot more violence and action than I was given. There was certainly a big battle throughout, but the story focused more on the society and the political aspects. There is nothing wrong with this. This is certainly interesting, but I had been expecting a wee bit more in terms of battle scenes. Of course, this is a personal preference of mine, as I'm a big fan of long action scenes. Overall, The Battle for Metagore was a great first book in the series that leaves us with the promise for much more. So that is the first 3-star. Like I said, I got 3 of those on here. And for the most part, it's just because there's a large cast of characters. A lot of people was like, that's kind of daunting, which, I was okay with. I wanted a large cast of characters. I don't like books with like 2 or 3. Well, I do like books with 2 or 3, but I'm really interested in all the characters as a whole, especially with books with larger characters or amounts of characters or whatever. To me, it makes me think that the author is better at weaving in different storylines, which is what I try to do. So it's not like you're getting the same story from all these characters, so it's like repetitive. You got all these different things. Like if you took one character out, you would not get this bit of information or this sideline or whatever. So I like that. So I'm okay with those 3-star reviews. Now the 5-star or whatever that I got, this is from fellow author tuber Dale Tillery. It is, like I said, 5-star. It has been some time since I've read a fantasy epic tale, and the author delivered a great layered story, to be sure. I must say there's a good amount of characters in this novel, but I rather like that aspect. One thing that surprised me was the multitude of races in this tale. It has it all. The author delivers great fantasy writing that was refreshing yet classical. It's a long read, but that's what you expect of a fantasy novel in most cases. The cover, I love the art style of the cover, and it tells you from the start that you should be ready for a bloodbath. The story is about the battle for Metagore, so you have political figures fighting for control. There's betrayal, brutal deaths, and more. I felt bad for the one character, I won't call him the main character in the story, because the story is more layered than a one character perspective for what he had to deal with, and I thought he was not treated fairly by those around him, but that was only the beginning. I don't plan to give anything away because you need to experience this novel for yourself. I'm happy I read this novel. I don't read many books by new authors in the fantasy genre, but I'm happy I gave this novel a chance. Pick up a copy, you won't be disappointed. Smiley face. So that's that. And something I just want to kind of point out that the 3-star mentioned, as well as she kind of mentioned in her 5-star review, is the fact that the cover and the titles, The Battle for Metagore, I know the 3-star one said something about they was expecting more battles and things like that. But in my mind, it was a battle for Metagore, and it was intended to be kind of political as well as a war. Wars are technically political bouts in a sense, You have these bloodbaths and people fighting, but they are fighting because of a political scheme that's going on or whatever. So I kind of wanted to intertwine the political society and the battles. So that's that. Yeah. But I'm perfectly fine with both reviews, all reviews, whatever. It could be a 1-star saying that they hate it. I don't care. I've done a video about that before. I'll read all my reviews. I don't feel like I'm going to be butthurt over anything or whatever. You know, I know how to take the positive and the critical type of information out of reviews and just kind of scoot aside just the negative bashing and stuff like that. So yeah. Number 10, what system do you use to determine how much to charge for your work? I try to charge as little as I can. For my audiobook, I didn't really get to pick. It's apparently like the same for every audiobook on there or something. I don't use Audible. I don't use iTunes. I don't do any of that. But I went through ACX and they just charge the same amount. Or I guess the same amount. I don't know. They pick how much. I don't get to pick, so whatever. But when I published through like KDP and Ingram Sparks for the paperback and the ebook, I tried to publish it for as cheap as I could. As well as I tried to get it to close as $5. I know I did like a 99-cent thing or whatever. Just because that's, I don't know. That's just kind of what most people do. But I did it like for the paperback, it's $14.99, so it's basically $15. That's about as cheap as I could get it. I could maybe knock it down a little bit more, but I like that $5 thing. So that way, whenever I do actual book signings and stuff, or you know, in-person selling and stuff, I can say 15, and they give me that, and I don't have to keep up with ones. I don't have to keep up with a bunch of change or anything like that. It's just fives, just here, 5, 10, 20, whatever. You know, I don't have to break it down into like, okay, here's $2 or anything like that. Number 11, do you work a day job or are you able to solely support yourself from your book sales? I do work a day job. I am a legal transcriber. I work from home. I get court cases, court hearings or whatever, the audio of them, and I listen to them and type them up verbatim, whatever. I type them up how, you know, they say it's. For the most part, there are a few exceptions to some stuff. But I type up what they say and then send it back, and then I get paid per page that way. Question number 12. How many subscribers do you have on your channel? Y'all can look. I think the last time I checked, there's like 159, 160, somewhere in there. I don't know, it kind of fluctuates up and down, 1 or 2 every so often. So around about that area. Number 13. Do you market your products to your subscribers? If so, how? Yes, I do market some. I do post like mock-up images on Instagram, and then I also have it kind of shared across Twitter and Facebook. I always, you know, kind of plug in, you know, my debut novel, blah, blah, links down below. Then in my videos, which all my links are down below. You can buy them down below. And I do some like Amazon ads and Facebook ads here and there or whatever to just random people, so it's not just the same people seeing it over and over. Number 14, do you monetize your Authortube videos? No. One, I don't have enough subscribers and view time or whatever to be able to monetize, and even then I don't know if I really would. Used to, their algorithm was a lot different, and the threshold to be able to monetize was a lot different. And when I had my old channel, I hadn't met that, and I just never monetized or anything. I didn't see any point in it. I know you can get money off of people watching, but I'm not doing this to become rich and famous or anything like that. I'm just doing this just for the fun of it, and people want to buy my book, then that's great. If not, oh well, I'm not gonna, you know, try to make money off of them just to make money off of them, you know. You know, I know I'm making money when they buy the book, but yeah, that's different. And I know being monetized, I'm not making money off of the people, I'm making money off the product. But I know for me, whenever I watch videos, if I'm not really into that video the first time an ad pops up on my eye, next video, you know, type ordeal, and I don't want to do that, so yeah. Question number 15. If you do monetize your videos, how much of your income comes from Authortube channel? I don't monetize, so next. 16. What is your number one complaint about Authortube? I think my number one complaint would be also just some of the stupid drama, and this and that, and the little clicks. I know I guess you could say I'm in a little clique as well. I got a few people I kind of associate with, and that's about it. But I don't do it because, oh, we're better than y'all type ordeal. It's just, it's just who I associate with more. Just like in reality, in real life, you just have your friends and you have people you just like, whatever, type ordeal. But just, some of the drama and stuff that goes on and all this, and there's a few other channels that's just like, whatever. But yeah. Number 17, if you could collaborate with any Authortuber, who would it be and why? I guess I would just say my little clique. Like that last question. I would probably pick, Aphrodite, DL Tillery, and Alec Williams, just because, that's the people that I feel like I'm the closest to on Authortube. And, we've done a lot of streams together, on my channel, on their channels, or whatever. So yeah, I would just say them. Anybody else, that'd be cool too. I know there's a few other channels that I've associated with, some done videos with. I know there's an Authortuber, the Novel Nana, that's apparently doesn't live too far from here. Found that out here a while back, and we plan on doing like maybe a collab video, like a meet up in person and do a in-person collab type of ordeal at some point. I don't know when, but at some point, stuff like that. But yeah. Number 18, what is your highest viewed video to date and how do you feel about it? My highest viewed video would probably be, let's see here. This is probably gonna cause some problems. Talking about that drama bullshit. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. It's sad. Like I said, I don't know if I've said in this one, but I like watching reality TV for the drama and all that stuff. I mentioned a couple questions ago, I don't like Authortube because of the drama and stuff. One video I made a couple months ago, I made it and it has almost 400 views. At the moment, it's got 395. It's writing offensive language, and it was part of my Do You Hate Me Yet series, which I did for about 2 months. It's basically, my opinions on different things. And I had created that video because one of the local authors I write with, or whatever, go to a writing group with, she had asked me, like, do you think it's all right? Because she's like a very devout Christian and this and that. And she tries to write a lot of like young adults or middle grade books and stuff like that. And there's like a character that she had. She's like, I just feel like it would be appropriate for them to curse. And then she told me the cuss word, which to me wasn't a curse word at all. But, I was like, and she's like, do you think, it'd be all right if I put that in there? There's probably like the only one in there, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's totally young adults, maybe even middle grade to an extent, it's not that bad of a word, and she's like, well, I don't want people thinking that I use this word all the time in my actual writing, and we had a conversation about that. And then when I was trying to figure out what all I want to do for my Do You Hate Me Yet series, I had thought about that and I didn't do it. And then I came up with some other ideas, because at first it was just going to be a month-long ordeal. And I had a couple other ideas, and I was like, well, I'll just do them as regular videos. And I kind of kept coming up with others. I was like, well, maybe I'll go ahead and do another month. And I did. And I did that video just based off of that, And in that video, I just gave examples of some offensive language. And who would have known? Offensive language offends people. I thought that was kind of a given, but oh well. I said a word in that video, a lot of people threw a little fit about it, and this and that. I was like, the whole video is about using language in your writing that you typically don't use in real life or whatever. And they think since I just said in there that I say it all the time or this and that, I was like, y'all obviously don't know me. I'm not against saying words, I never have been. To me, words are words. I do know that some words are more offensive to other people, but for me, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. I do take in parts, other people's feelings. If I know something's going to offend somebody, I don't say it around them unless, that's my purpose. If I'm like pissed off at them and I want to offend them, then I might call them names or something. But I said a word that's racist and stuff. I was like, I'm not racist. The people that really know me know that I'm not racist. You know, some of my closest friends, like I mentioned here on Authortube, are people of color and this and that. I have people, you know, in real life, friends that are, you know, of different races and things. Although I'm not racist, you know, if you think I am, oh well, you know, I'm not losing any sleep over it. I don't care. But you know, I just think that's just kind of stupid video to like get blown up just because I name off offensive language in a book about writing offensive language if you don't use it or whatever. And yeah, people kind of blew up over that, made a big ordeal about it. Still get messages almost weekly about the whole ordeal. And it's like, whatever, you know, let it be. Oh well. But yeah, that has the most highest views right now, almost 400. Besides that, so what's the next one? The next one is, I believe the first time I did my that 10K writing challenge last year when Mandy Lynn first started it. I think it's the first one. And then after that, my book trailer for my book at 89. So yeah, that's my top 3. Number 19, which AuthorTuber would you recommend to your viewers and why? I feel like a lot of AuthorTubers, you know, not just those I mentioned earlier, Aphrodite, D.L. Tiller, and Alec Williams, or A.O. Williams. I would recommend all of them. But a bunch of others. I used to have a list of people down in my description. I don't have it right now. But you know, a bunch of other AuthorTubers that I've associated with over the years and this and that, or over the year, not years, but over the year, maybe 2 or whatever, down there. But I've removed that since then. But yeah, just about anybody in the AuthorTuber or AuthorTube community. I know, like I mentioned, there's some drama and all that crap, but the majority of them are, you know, very easygoing and, you know, are good people, you know, that have good intentions. So I would just say, just search for people. And then number 20, take a sip of tea and then answer. I don't have any tea made up, and this is about empty, but I'm going to try this. It's a Body Armor Light. Yeah. What the fuck is this? No memory card. Let me tell me there's no memory card. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe tell me I'm low on memory. So I'm going to wrap this up. Take a sip of tea and then answer. Do you believe that an ARC should be sold for $150? Going back to some of that drama. ARCs are free. You know, if people want to sell like pre-release copies or whatever, I think that's one thing. But to actually label it as an ARC and saying that that's the only way you can get an ARC is by paying $150, I think it's fucking ridiculous. Especially from what I've heard, the person that's selling this isn't even worth that much for books. You know, I don't think any book should be $150, but a lot of the things I've heard about their writing isn't that great either. So the fact that they feel like they can sell for $150, it's kind of but yeah. Art should be free. I do think, you know, if you want to sell a pre-release copy to somebody as, you know, whatever, that's one thing, but to label it as an ARC and to actually say that's the only way you can get an ARC, that's, no, an ARC should be free. It's just out there for people to read in advance to read your copy, and then leave a review for it. You know, you're giving it to them for free out of good faith that they will leave you a review. But yeah, I know if I bought a book for $150, I don't know if that's stupid, but if I did, especially if it was a pre-release thing for a review, my review would be like, it could be like the best book ever. It was alright, but not worth $150. That'd be my review. Oh well. That is the Authortube Transparency Tag. I hope you all enjoyed it. And yeah, I guess that's about it. All my links are down below. I got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Patreon, where you can support me for $1 a month and not for $150. And you will get like extra video content and things like that. Right now, I'm not doing much extra video content. I'm sharing other people's videos, music videos, things like that. But I am doing monthly vlogs, and then whenever I do have a book cover to reveal, I'll reveal it on there way earlier than actually to the public. So you'll get exclusive early content, I guess you'd say, on there. But I got a newsletter you can sign up for on my website. I send that out once a month, kind of let you know where I'm at with my writing, as well as what kind of content I'm pushing out the next month. And then, yeah, I guess that's about it. My debut novel, Battle for Metagore, is available on Amazon, Indigo, IndieBound, Barnes & Noble, all those places. Those links are down below, as well as on Audible and iTunes and all that fun stuff. Links down below. Go down there, click it. Click the like button, click the subscribe button, click that bell if you want notifications. Or you can just not do anything, click the dislike button. I don't care. YouTube doesn't really care either. That's about it. Peace out. Yoli.